I think we're good now. Alright, say less. Alright, we're here. What happened last time? We got pussy. And we left off on Act 3. One thing I hadn't counted on when asking Elle if... Alright, yeah, we'll just jump right into it, bro. Come on, let's go. Speed running this shit. I want to get as much done in this hour. One thing I hadn't counted on when asking Elle if I could come over was how large the distance involved were. The distances involved were. Jesus, I'm already off to a great start. Let me throw on my reading glasses. Let me lock in. I'm already feeling the difference from home. Alright. Colorado and Utah might be right next to each other on a map, but all to be seen between them are vast plains of utterly nothing. Oh, so this game takes place in Utah. Okay, that makes sense then, I guess, for the weird-ass weather. With noon approaching and little else around for miles as we motored down the endless strip of tarmac, Rose made the executive decision to chance this place for some lunch. It's a little chintzy for my taste. The faux 50s interior decorated with a mishmash of cheap Americana, but Rose is in her element as she stuffs down another hunk of meat. At least it's quite quiet beyond the cheerful music, given we have the diner to ourselves. I barely slept all night, not only at the prospect of seeing Elle's home, but at this being my first trip so far from my own. Right now, though, I hate these commas. I'm just glad to be free of the motorbike's vibration and noise. Damn, that's crazy. Across country. Let me stop. I finally become used to the odd short trip around the city, but this trip is something else entirely.
Still getting your back legs, huh?
It's been 4 hours. Ugh, give me a break.
3 more to go.
She digs in once more as I groan and try to swing my legs back to life.
Man, the steaks here are amazing. You're missing out.
I think I'll be fine.
I take a sip of my milkshake while gauging how best to tackle the huge plate of steaming nachos before me, buried in cheese, sauce. Okay, the jalapenos are carefully picked off and sitting to the side of the table. Alright, yep, to the side. Doing all this during winter is fucking crazy. There's not much to see out there as I glance out at the window. Just an endless plain stretching out to the horizon, an enthusiastic welcome sign at the otherwise invisible border being all that indicated we'd enter a different state. I'm not sure what I expected, really. I knew there are no rivers or anything defining the border, but it's a different thing to see that for yourselves. It's just so arbitrary. A line on the map, nothing more. Far from being any sort of revelation, it just makes me feel rather silly about being so sheltered. This is all probably barely registered to Elle as she drove along the lonely highway. Whoopsies. Whoopsie daisies. I'm geeking. Rose picks up her phone to check the address I gave her once again, forcing down the current chunk of steak she's eating with a giant gulp.
Still have a while to go, huh? If it's as close to the big city as you've said, we shouldn't have a problem finding the place. So, she's never told you anything about her home? Her family?
She mentioned her sister once.
She scratches the back of her head as she thinks.
I don't mean to pry, but I still don't get why she'd come all the way from outside the state to live in Utah. Not that I have anything against the place, I do like it, but it's not exactly where I'd choose if I were her. But coming here just for a community college, that's the part that gets me. I'm not exactly an artist, but from what you've said, she could probably get a scholarship at a proper college. Sounds like she could probably afford tuition for that one.
Wait a second. Wait, hold on a second. So you're telling me our character got a scholarship and decided to go to community college. How much was the scholarship? Excuse me? Only reason why I went to college was because I didn't have enough money to go to uni. What the fuck is... Oh my god. You bitch. I fucking hate you. You worked hard for a scholarship to go to school and you go to a community college instead of a proper one? I don't know. This is America. This takes place in America. I live in Canada. Our schooling system is a little bit different, but still, bro. Our post-secondary system is different, but whatever. I guess. Rose looks to me for answers, but I have none. When she puts it that way, there are vast stretches of Elle's past that are total black spots to me. You mean blank? Did I say black? Yeah, it did say black. She leaves me to stew a little as we eat our respective meals, piping up again as she chews.
Remember when you asked me about my family a few weeks ago? And I blew you off? I feel like I should probably explain that.
I didn't hear a gulp.
Not to get too deep into things, I ended up cutting ties with my mom and pop. Given what my family was like, I wanted to have a clean break from them.
Oh. I'm sorry for bringing it up.
I've made peace with it, don't worry. My point is...
Oh, my fault. Failing to remember, she starts circling her fork in the air.
The point of all this was... Right, Eileen. I'm just saying that there might be a reason she's cagey about her personal life.
I guess that makes sense. My nod earns a comforting grin.
You're a good kid, Allison. I'm sure you'll do fine. In fact, you even taught me a little something. To be honest, I expected to be mothering you around when you first arrived to live with me. That you were some kid I already knew everything about, who I'd be left teaching adult life to. Yeah, I was kinda wrong there.
But you've helped me so much. I couldn't have managed without you around.
You've surprised me so much. You make me rethink how much I know about the world and other folks as an adult. I got a little arrogant without even realizing it, and you brought me down to earth. I thought adulthood was about knowing everything, but it's actually about admitting how much you don't know. I wanted to thank you.
Whoops. Oh, I'm too lazy to go back. Satisfied with her explanation, Rose quickly gets back to her precious steak. Left in thought, I get back to my own food. I didn't realize I could have such an impact on another's life, let alone Rose's. I looked up to her so much that I forgot we're both just muddling through life together. Elle's lived so much of her life in a solitary manner that maybe opening up to me isn't as easy. Maybe she just doesn't want to, given her past experiences.
Eileen aside, this trip's probably a good thing. It'll push you out of your own comfort zone a little. You've already grown in the time I've been bunking with you. Just hang in there, right?
Thanks. I will.
Atta girl.
Sharing a smile, we get back to our food. Of all the people I might have ended up with a roommate, as a roommate, someone like Rose was among the last I expected. Maybe she's just the sort of person who was best for me. On ganging him. Alright. The two of us find ourselves in a surprisingly quaint little corner of America. A heavily forested town with snow-covered pines visible no matter which direction you look. Wood seems to be the norm for the I find it quite charming, actually. I was worried I'd be awkwardly roaming through some manicured slice of suburbia, but this feels closer to a friendly country town. Almost something from one of Elle's westerns.
Just give me a call the day before you want to come back, alright?
I will. Thanks again for all this. I know it's a really long way.
Don't worry, it's a nice ride out to here anyway. Might stick around a bit before heading back.
I would love to live in the country, man. I definitely when I'm done with the living in Ottawa, when I get enough money, I'm moving out to the fucking country. I don't care. I fucking when I have enough money, bro, 25. That's the goal. When I'm 25, I'm moving out to the country, chilling there for a nice 5 years. Where are we? As she walks back to her bike, she stops and turns around once more, raising her hand in a farewell.
If you ever want to give me a call, go ahead. It's no problem. I'll be seeing you, Allison.
Bye, Rose. Thanks for everything.
She beams a smile as she gets back on her bike, fitting her helmet before kicking back the stand. With a flick of her wrist and press of her foot, her bike fuck. Her bike roars to life. Rose sailing off down the road and around the corner out of sight. Fucking hell. I do my best to appear natural as I turn back to the house before me. Duffel bag of clothes slung over my shoulder. The scenery around here is nice, and there's hardly a crowd. In fact, I'm the only person around at all. That's a nice ass house. Now that I get a good look at it, Elle's house sure is big. My eyes slowly scan around as I slowly make my way down the front garden path, taking in every detail. I guess being outside the city would make bigger houses a little more affordable. Yeah, nah, they're right. With a gulp, I gingerly press the doorbell beside the... Yup. Even as muffled footsteps approach, I'm trying to flick a little snow from my hair. As Elle opens the door, I'm greeted by a warm smile. A reflexive reaction at the sight of me makes me feel better already.
Fancy seeing you here.
I made it. In the end.
Wait, is this the end of the fucking game? You know what, matter of fact, fuck it. How about we just end the game today? We'll see.
Yeah, it was great.
I don't think I managed to make that very convincing. Looking at each other, I think we both realize we're just making small talk. She leans forward, the two of us sharing a momentary kiss before she nods for me to come in. It's strange how such a simple action can feel so nice every time, my heart skipping even from the most gentle peck. I obediently follow her inside, closing the door behind me as I do.
Dad, she's here.
Elle's cut off by the sound of soft footsteps on carpet rapidly approaching. A small figure suddenly skips around the corner of the stairs and out into the entranceway, nearly barreling straight into Elle before stopping herself. With both of us taken by surprise, the small girl examines me, likely around 10 by the looks of her. It's difficult not to see a bit of Elle in her face.
Hello there.
She quickly shuffles behind Elle in response, her apprehensive face peering out from safety. Elle just gives a sigh in response.
Welcome to the family.
That look kind of fire. No, it doesn't. See, Malabi, we have us Asians, just like a little like rice right here. That's all you need. Just a little bit of rice. That's all I'm saying. Rice can go a long way, bro. While I was not even reading. The smell of freshly cooked chicken wafts in the air, the skin still steaming away with an appetizing glint. The line of plates down the center of the table hardly lags for sides, either, with potato salad, coleslaw, lettuce for a fucking side, and other greens. While I'm thankful for the luxurious dinner before me, it's rather a quick introduction to her family. I can't help but feel intimidated when surrounded by everyone at once. With her father already preparing dinner as Elle let me in, and her mother arriving from work only soon after, it was unavoidable. That being the case, here we all are, gathered around one big table. While not exactly a mansion, it's obvious Elle's family lives very comfortably. I'd probably be green with envy as how well off they are, if not for being so self-conscious of how to act in front of them.
I suppose some proper introductions are in order now that we're all
She
together.
is bad, sorry.
I'm Eileen's father, Andrew, and this is my lovely wife, Elizabeth.
Your wife is bad.
And you would be Allison?
Alright, chat, smash her pass. No, let me stop.
Oh, yes. Allison Merlot.
My nerves seem to amuse her father as he gives a reassuring smile.
This isn't a job interview. You can relax.
Right, yeah, sorry.
I let out a long breath to try and relax a little, though it doesn't really work. Every time I hear our character talk, Allison talk, I always think of like those people on TikTok who like those like My Hero fans on TikTok back in the day who would like fucking do like the jumpy motion. Like they'd be like, hi, and then like they do like the fucking like the hand up, but like it raises up with a little jump.
Well, let's dig in. I'm no chef, but it hopefully shouldn't give you food poisoning.
Smiling politely at his attempt to lighten the mood, I start to ladle this and that from the large plates. My mouth's already watering at the prospect of so much wonderful smelling food. Rose might be many things, but she isn't a cook. How much you want to bet all this food is unseasoned? Satisfied with my selection of meat and salads, I pile some potato salad onto my fork, intensively have a taste. My reaction seems to draw some smiles as I make progress on the meal, but I'm so enamored with the food, I can't help but keep going.
It's nice to see Eileen's already made friends in college.
More than friends. A brief panic comes over me as I realize we haven't talked this over. Is she out to her parents? Are we going to play this as simply friends? As I mull over to handle things, Elle's voice cuts through.
Allison's my girlfriend. I probably should have mentioned that earlier.
That's kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It would. Everything seems to stop for a moment. Oh shit.
Yes, you should have.
I thought you said having a girlfriend wouldn't be a problem.
No, daughter of
This
mine.
is what I'm talking about. This isn't the first time you've kept us in the dark since moving out.
Whoa, T. I have to admit that I can sympathize with with her mother, which puts me in a delightfully awkward spot. Elle's father makes no attempt to mediate as he eats, which is probably the best approach.
I didn't think I needed to report back on everything I did.
Don't you think this is important enough to warrant a phone call?
Neither Elle nor her mother raise their voice, even eating as they quibble. The argument almost feels routine, which, going by her father's reaction, might as well be the case. Even her sister is still eating, albeit with a badly hidden glance.
I mean, our daughter's first girlfriend. Isn't it nice she gained something from college?
Hey, fuck you. She looks pointedly to her husband with just an edge of snark to her voice, but he perhaps smartly simply acknowledges her with a smile. Dropping that on them here and now is quite the decision. I'm beginning to wonder why I thought this was a good idea. Can't read her parents at all, but I can already tell my presence here is only increasing a tension that usually permeates this household.
Well, you know now.
At least Elle dating a girl isn't a problem in and of itself. I have never seen that like saying written down before in my entire life. Elle's father finally pipes up as their argument peters out, taking a swig of his wine to wash down his food.
Setting all that aside, it sounds like college in Utah is working out well for the both of them.
Her father gives a brief chuckle, maybe sensing my tense mood. He seems down to earth and relaxed, especially compared to her mother. That said, get a vague feeling of being a foreigner, and not just because I'm in a different city, as if there's a certain social etiquette that I'm not quite aware of, but everyone else is following naturally.
Right. So, tell us about yourself, Allison.
I'm 20. I'm a YouTuber. Oh, I've already folded. Attention now. Attention now focused on me. I freeze up. I must have expected this would come up. Judging by their conversation, Elle probably told them nothing about me. This feels like an introduction on the first day of elementary school all over again.
Let's see. I go to the same college as Eileen. I've lived in the same city my whole life, but I moved a little closer to campus before semester started, so I'm still getting used to that.
This bitch is getting homesick even though she lives she still lives in the same city with her fucking parents? Are you dead ass? I have friends who literally went overseas. Oh my.
So you're an art student like Eileen?
Oh, no. I'm nowhere near her level. I'm actually on a science scholarship.
Whatever. Just whatever, bro. Whatever, bro.
Science, huh?
Water under the bridge. She sounds immediately interested, her eyebrows raised, but all I can offer is an evasive dodge. Weave. I don't know how to say that I'm not really excited about it, even if I apparently have some talent.
We are in the art club together, though. We met through the mutual friend who made it.
I see.
Her previous curiosity suddenly hits a wall, her entire demeanor changing. Did I say something wrong? The abrupt change in tone completely breaks my train of thought, unsure of whether to continue or clear things up. I see. She is the type of parent that does not think art is a realistic career. She's not wrong, but it just depends on how you turn it into a career. The other problem I have is the feeling of someone's eyes drilling into me. Elle's mother notices as my eyes shift right beside her and holding the little girl's back to reassure her.
Come on, dear. Be polite.
The effort doesn't seem to have moved her, the girl resisting as her suspicious face shrinks behind her daintily patterned children's plate.
Silly.
My name's Eve. Nice to meet you, Eve. That's a lovely name.
Starts throwing out slurs. I don't even know if I can say any of the slurs that I want to say. Not the N-word, don't worry. The Asian slurs. I keep smiling, but her pouting shows my charm offensive. My charm offensive isn't working out. Once again, Elle comes to the rescue, speaking up as I try to think of another way to overcome her distress.
Are you going to be like this all night?
Eve just huffs and starts shoveling food into her mouth. The size of her spoon and the table before her makes the attempt at seriousness look more amusing than anything else.
Don't mind her. She'll come around.
She might say that, but I was hoping her her cute little sister might be a little warm towards me. At least her mother has given up questioning me for
I
now.
almost forgot to tell you. The spare guest room's just been cleaned out a few days ago, so you can use that while you're here.
Thank you very much. I'm really sorry to impose so much on you.
You have charm going for you. Wouldn't you say, Eileen?
Elle grimaces, her mother embarrassing her in that particular way only a parent knows how. I can already feel my eyelids getting heavy as I lean back into the wonderfully soft couch. The exhaustion of the trip and meeting with Elle's folks finally catching up to me as I rest in the living room. The fireplace happily cackle. All that can be heard are the fire and the faint clanking of the dishes. I very nearly succumb to my doziness before Elle walks in, pulling back her still slightly wet hair. Why is her hair wet? Oh, shower. The sight of her in pajamas wakes me up a little, though I quickly try to move my gaze elsewhere. She practically collapses onto the couch beside me, staring up at the ceiling for a while to collect herself. I catch myself staring at her, but if she minds, she doesn't show it. What a day. That goes for both of us. I almost mentioned the argument Elle had with her mother, but I can't work out how I want to phrase it. Maybe it's best that Elle preempts me. So how was the trip? Now that we can talk properly. The times we stopped were good. You're braver than I am. Couldn't pay me enough to get on one of those things. Come on. I'm sure you'd be a natural at it. No way, your roommate's crazy for using it as her only transportation. Parents seem nice. Elle just shrugs. That's just... I wish they were a little more subtle. About what? Being so specific that you'll use the guest room, not mine. My cheeks flush scarlet as I connect the dots.
Huh?
Did you just realize what that was about?
Oh!
No, but I'm still embarrassed to talk about it. Elle finds amusement in how I bury my face in my hands. Never change. If I had lied and said we were just friends, I wonder if they would have been so adamant about the two of us not sharing a room. I peek at her from behind my hands. I don't really know what to say. I don't know enough about her parents to say anything. Maybe that would have been better, huh? A smile returns and she leans in towards me. I can feel my face go redder. My heart burning in my chest. All I can do is lean in to meet her. Elle closes her eyes, our lips meeting for one brief moment. As I pull back, the two of us look at each other and smile, partly from happiness and partly from our sheepishness. It's going to be a while before this comes naturally, I guess. As I watch her though, Elle's face slowly collapses into frustration. ¿Qué pasa, amigo?
Everything's wrong!
Elle makes no a secret of her displeasure as she sighs and takes to her feet, confronting the small and unhappy girl before us. It stings to be so close, only to be interrupted.
Eve.
Pause. Elle's sister takes little notice, directing her pouting towards the object of her annoyance. Me.
She's my sister. I finally get to play with Eileen after so long, and you keep hugging her.
Wanna play, do you?
Elle flits behind Eve while she's busy ranting at me, bringing her arms around the child's midsection and lifting her up against her chest with ease. As Eve finds her feet dangling a couple of inches from the carpet, she begins flailing about to grab a foothold.
Let go of me! I can't read.
Wow, you haven't grown at all.
That'll definitely help calm her down. To no surprise, the two start fighting. Eve slight body jerking this way and that as Elle plants her feet and refuses to let go despite her squirming around.
I'll tell Mom on you!
And what? She'll ground me?
Eve fruitlessly continues to struggle, arms and legs flailing about in the air. For all her frustration and growling, her acting out just makes Elle all the more amused as she teases her little sister. Watching the two having their little sibling scuffle, it reminds me of one of my brothers at home. For the first time, my nerves about being here fade a little. Let me save. Sitting on the side of the bed I'll be using for a week, I idly watch the news on the small television placed on the cabinet. The little speakers on the device try valiantly, but the voices are so tiny I can barely understand them. What is this song? Warm-Hearted World. It's 10:30 in the evening. Going by the clock in the corner of the broadcast, adulthood is weird now. I give up on reading, bro. You know what? Adulthood's weird. Now that I can go to sleep whenever I want without my parents disapproving, I dutifully do so at a reasonable time anyway so I can be fresh for school. The fact I'm actually watching the news nowadays is too strange. What are the reports about trucks being stuck after sliding around on the roads? I let myself flop back onto the soft blankets as it drones on. Lacking the energy to do much else, I lazily stare upwards. Bro, the only time I ever watched the news was like 4 years ago. Because I went to my friend's house and his mom was watching the news. And I don't know. I think I was just there just to be there. Because I just tend to do that. Like he would just invite me over and then I would just be there. We were watching the news. Like this was at the beginning of 2020. So like this was like before COVID even happened. And like I think the end of Trump's presidency. And then they were like, oh, they're like talking on the news about like how like they built a wall in the US like between the Mexico, and it was literally just a fucking fence. I was dying about that, and then I was looking at a bunch of World War III memes because back then there I think that was when the Taliban started running Afghanistan or some bullshit like that, and everyone was like, oh my god, bro, it's about to be World War III. So everybody started making jokes about it. Now look at us. on the precipice of World War III, actually. Like, we're this close, bro. I swear to God, if conscription happens, I'm fleeing. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Yet another unfamiliar ceiling above me. It feels like everything is constantly changing these days. My old home sure didn't have a guest bedroom, let alone one that's so nicely furnished. Here I was thinking I'd be squeezing into Elle's bed. Not that I'd minded that at all. For all the lovely things she has here, though. Elle seems to be intentionally trying to distance herself from her parents. I don't understand it at all. She might have told me not to pry into her life, but it's hard to ignore. What's right in my phrase? Yep. I quickly shuffle up at the sound of the opening door sliding across the carpet. With a gentle touch, Elle gingerly closes the door behind her. I thought everyone to be asleep by now, but maybe I should have expected her of all people to still be up.
Eileen.
She puts a finger over her lips as she turns back before walking up, climbing onto the bed and facing me as I twist around. The two of us end up sitting in its center. Shouldn't you be sleeping? Same goes for you. She has me there. Far from the quiet feeling awkward, I find myself smiling at our secret rendezvous. Feels like we're kids having a sleepover. Too bad the movie's just news instead of some horror movie and we snuck past our parents. You did that? Once. My friends were so freaked out when we went back to the usual horrible romance stuff. There's nothing wrong with romance movies. Her face makes it abundantly clear this is it's an opinion that'll never be bridged. I have to admit, there is one thing different to back then, too. Elle's body is really hard to ignore when we're like this. As much as I try to distract myself from the subject, she did sneak into my bedroom at night. Que pasa? Nothing. It's just, you're really pretty. It isn't often I catch her being so bashful, but I think this might finally be one of those times. My moment of victory is brief, though, when Elle quick's movement towards me, taking me all unable to make the sense of the girl suddenly lunging at me, the two backwards into the soft mattress. Oh, perfect time to get an email. Let's go. Scheduled maintenance, get the fuck out of here. It takes a couple of seconds to collect myself and work out what's happened. Time seeming to stop as I'm pinned, I think. A brief attempt to right myself ends in a little more than a couple of weak jerks. Elle holding my arms onto thick sheets with her body weight. Silence reigns, my vision filled with her face looking downwards. I have no idea what to say as my heart beats wildly in my chest, yet she doesn't say a word.
Eileen, what are you...
I missed you.
How am I supposed to respond to that? Were her face any different? I think it'd be an invitation, but there's a sincerity there that takes me off guard. I wonder how often I've seen her face, or anyone's from this close, and for so long. I can't help but stare upwards, trying my best to read that face. Bro, I'm going to fucking cry if they say face one more time. As I do though, I realize something. She's doing the same. Maybe she's scared of forcing me to do something I don't want to do, or afraid of getting too close too fast. Maybe she's simply like I am, unused to being looked at this intently. Either way, she isn't leering over me. Elle's genuinely unsure of what to do next. Whatever the reason, I can't help but smile a little.
Did I say something wrong?
I was just thinking how you're still the same as ever.
What's that supposed to mean?
Sorry, I just had to. Without any further prompting needed, she presses her lips to mine with a satisfied sigh. It isn't long before our tongues move about, her breath tingling on my face. I squirm about. A shiver runs up my spine as I find her thigh between my legs and my fidgeting about. My heart beginning. You know what I just realized? I did not check if there is any sex scenes in this. With lips affectionately breaking and meeting, Elle barely letting me take so much as a... Then several sharp thuds against the door ring out. My entire body freezes. My heart nearly jumped out of the chest. The both of us freeze up as to look over, hoping against hope that the door doesn't creak
It's
open.
getting late, Allison.
Why now of all times? I can only thank my lucky stars that we've been quiet. But being one door handle turned from being seen like this is far too close for comfort.
Right. Sorry, I'll go to bed soon.
That was remarkably more natural than I thought I'd be able to pull off.
Thank you. If you need anything, just ask. Sleep well.
Yeah, like, bitch, keep your voice down. Like, what are you doing?
Thanks. Good night.
Like, damn. As her footsteps go down the hallway, the both of us heave a great sigh. The mood's completely gone as the both of us look at each other. I suppose this is one of the benefits of Elle having her own apartment. I run my hands through my hair to settle myself down as Elle sits back on the bed, wisely letting a few minutes go by before trying to slip out of my room. Also miss living alone. Well, that was annoying. Get blue-balled. Elle, get blue-balled. See you tomorrow, I guess. Have a good sleep. With that, she slips off the bed, quietly shuffling across the room before pausing a moment before turning the handle. As I pick myself up to wish her a good night, she's to be honest, I think you look really pretty too. I don't manage to form a reply before she skitters out of the room. Then again, my scarlet cheeks probably did the job for me. There better not be an act 4 to this. I swear. If there's an act 4 to this, I'm going to get mad. Rubbing sleep from my eyes as I slowly try. Why the fuck is she here? Looks like Elle's family are early risers. Noises from the kitchen, presumably being from her parents. Who are you? The fire's crackling would make it quite a cozy scene, if not being interspersed with cartoon voices. That's Eve? Oh my days. Eve sits on the couch as I glance down, already bundled in her winter outfit like a puffy ball of clothing, eagerly watching the morning cartoons, her legs swinging away as she happily munches on a bowl of brightly colored cereal. Fruit Loops? W. Fruit Loops is a W cereal. I don't care what anyone says. Obviously, don't have it every morning, but like every once in a while, it smacks. I can't help but smile, reminded of my own childhood. The show and the setting might be different, but the innocence is just the same. I forgot what this simple experience felt like. I take a seat beside the oversized hamster, Eve barely acknowledging my presence, before Elle pops in from the kitchen and calls out to me. Looks like the coffee in her hand hasn't kicked in quite yet.
Allison.
Want any food? There's toast and cereal if you want any. I don't usually eat breakfast. Thanks though. Shrugging in response, the tired Elle heads back out. Despite settling down to watch Eve's cartoon with her, I can't help but eavesdrop as the conversation between Elle and her mother can be heard from the other room.
Any plans for the day?
Was going to study for school.
Real studying? Not just drawing?
The cartoon's loud exclamation punctuated the short silence that forms Elle's
Should
response.
have known. I've seen your marks from high school. I just want you to do well. Maybe you can have Allison help. She seems to have a good head on her shoulders.
She's been helping me with my math already.
And here I was, worrying about who you might end up with for a girlfriend.
You know I can handle myself fine. Why worry?
Because I'm your mother. That's why.
Elle doesn't exactly sound buoyed by the buoyed? Buoyed? I think that's buoyed by the comments, but I have to admit that the praise is nice to hear. It's a bit sad to hear mother doesn't approve of her pursuing art. Though. I wonder how tempered this exchange is, thanks to them keeping things together since I'm around.
Oh, morning, you two.
Going out, dear?
Just swinging into town to grab paper and milk. Want to come along?
Eve, Allison, we're heading out for a moment.
We're going by your favorite shop, Eve.
Pause. She drops her almost finished bowl into the cotton. I forgot I had her voice. Bro, when she said K, I forgot I had her voice low. So I genuinely thought that like they just used a random recording for that. She drops her almost finished bowl onto the coffee table so hastily that it nearly spills, skittering out to the door with a faint pitter-patter on the carpet. It's amazing how much energy kids have. Elle's parents give a short farewell as they escort Eve out, the girl racing out straight to the car, to be a child again, filled with excitement for the next car trip or television show. With her family out the door, Elle watches them drive off before heading over. I shift over a little as she drops onto the couch, setting her coffee down with somewhat more care than her sister's cereal. I give a loud stretch, but rather than being out of tiredness, it's more to calm myself as my heart starts beating in anticipation. Finally alone. For realsies. As I look over to Elle, it's obvious that she has the same idea as she turns off the television. Damn! I want to. But isn't it kind of early for this? She has to think that one through. It'll wake us up. I'm not given a chance to respond as she presses her lips to mine. Not that I particularly wanted to argue the fact. This will likely be the last time we can share a moment like this for a good while. Oh yeah, because the school year is done. I've been like confused. My fault, gangy. The snow makes a satisfying sound as I pat it down, each handful making the sphere before me that little bit larger. It's surprising how much physical work putting a snowman together is, but this is my first time making one this size. I have never built a snowman. Standing on the front lawn in the cold of early morning, I keep patiently patting away at my creation, slowly but surely building him up. I've been wanting to make a snowman for a while now, but between moving, studying, and hanging out with the others, there just hasn't been much time. While I might have wanted to keep lazing around with Elle, her family probably won't take much longer to get back, and she wanted to keep practicing her art. If nothing else, at least we're both a little more awake now. It's rather nice to be out here, despite the cold, and given some much needed time to unwind. I think I'm living up to the expectation of Elle's family, but living in another's home under the gaze of strangers is still stressful. Not that I'm alone out here. The odd squirrel flits about in the distance between the trees, and birds can be heard chirping away from the pines. I wonder if Elle, for her love of the outdoors, appreciates the sound of nature around here. Even if you're the only person around, you're never really alone. He's always watching. The air is nice here. Too fresh. Nice here too. Fresh, with just a hint of pine wafting from the trees. It's only when a car door clangs shut behind me that I realize I've become so distracted with my surroundings. Her father makes idle mention of how little traffic they encountered as they pass into the house, with her mother guessing that the cars must be going in the direction of the city instead. Eve bounces out of the car after them, before stopping to spy on what I'm doing. Yep, never had the time to make one back home. Wanna build one too? Needing no further prompting, she enthusiastically rushes past me and crouches down, pushing together snow with her tiny gloved hands. The two of us start working away, with her snowman slowly starting to take form from next to mine. There's almost a therapeutic feel to it all, relaxing outside as I see the large snowman coming together with each little step. Even Eve seems to have quieted down, focused wholly on her work. Maybe this is a bit what sculpture. It's satisfying to build something with my own hands, and to see an object form where there was nothing before. Looking over to Eve's snowman as I go, I'm impressed with how quickly she managed to get something together. The slightly lopsided figure roughly equal to her height.
Wow.
Wow, you
must have lots of
thank God.
practice.
She continues working away at it, making a bit of show of pounding snow into shape with both hands, her entire upper body being put into it.
Eileen taught me how to make snowmen.
There's a bit of hesitation still, as if reminding herself that she shouldn't talk too much to the stranger suddenly hanging around her sister. Hopefully the fun of sharing the experience might help distract her.
It sounds like you and Eileen are really close.
I don't get to play with her much now that she's moved out. I miss her when she goes away, but Mom and Eileen always argue when she's home.
You could visit her back in Utah, maybe. I'm sure she'd like the company.
Dad says we will, but he's always got work. I want to see her paintings. She was always making them before she went away.
Her paintings are really pretty, aren't they?
Yeah, but
Okay, W dick suck.
so Eileen gets mad.
What about Dad?
Dad said he thinks the same, but they shouldn't fight so much over it.
Ha! Bro, for some reason my mom thought I wanted to go to school for animation. I think it's probably because when I was a kid, I used to watch, like, I was one of those kids who would go on YouTube and then look at all like the animations that would, like, came from Newgrounds. And like, I'm probably assuming that's why my mom thought I wanted to do animation, but dog, I suck at drawing. I fucking suck.
Sounds like they don't get along very well.
She was like, oh, what do you want to truly be? And she was like, oh, an animator? I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from?
Can you make Eileen happier?
I'll certainly do my best.
Do I seem like somebody who wants to be an animator, dog? I struggle with just drawing simple ass, like, shapes. Like a circle? You got me cooked, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Satisfied with the best answer I could drum up, she goes back to work on her snowman. Little hands collecting some more snow to pat on it. I might say that, but I don't really know where to begin. Now that I think about it, she's done a lot for me. But when I think back to when we've been together, all I've been able to do I'm just getting myself worried over her, as she said. Elle's perfectly capable of looking after herself. It's not like she needs me to be happy. Trying to stop myself from dwelling, I focus on patting the head of my snowman, some more to make it a bit less rectangular.
Do you paint too?
Not really. I just draw cute things.
I draw too. Can I show you my drawings later?
Sure, that'd be great.
Shows her a drawing. It's like, you know, those like fucking like those horror movie drawings with the kid, where it's just like the family picture, and then there's like just this big fucking shadow figure called the Void, or called like Mr. Benson. Honey, who's this right here? That's Mr. Benson. He meets me. He comes to me at every. He comes visit me every night from my closet. Honey, we're moving. Like, what? As she beams a grin, I'm glad to finally be making headway with her. I never thought I'd be bonding through messing about in the snow. Have you shown Mom and Dad? They're always busy, so I can't always show them. My nanny's seen all of them, though. She's nice. A nanny? The fuck? I suppose you don't get to live this nicely without some sacrifices. I wonder if Elle was raised by a nanny too. I wonder if either of them ever really connected with their parents. As we work away on our creations, the door opens once more. Looking around to see who it is, a familiar figure strides up. I do worry about her long boots in the slippery snow, but she doesn't seem bothered.
Huh?
What are you two doing? Making money? You don't say. Well, if you want some lunch instead of freezing out here, making snowmen all day, come in from the cold already. But I want to make him better. Elle studies her work for a moment before reaching over towards me. Too confused to respond, I just stand. Fuck! Too refuses to respond, I just stand there as Elle's hands reach over and take my scarf in their grip. Unwinding it from my neck, she silently walks over to Eve's snowman and smartly wraps it around and what's probably supposed to be in the neck. Fire! There, you'll be happier now that he's less cold. He'll still be here when you get back out, so go and eat something. Shocked that she might be missing even a minute, she completely drops any attention she had on the snowman and stomps off as quickly as her restricted clothes. All I'm left to do is stare at Eileen, pouting. Fuck. You can grab your scarf back when Eve gets bored of making it. I was going to use it on my own snowman.
Seriously?
Swear, you're worse than her sometimes. Tight shit. Alright, gang. It's fire. But do we call it here? I kinda wanna call it here. I know this hasn't been that long. Okay, how about this? After this section, I'll call it. The sound of Saturday morning kids shows fills the living room as I walk back in, each hand carefully balancing a bowl of cereal. Eve sits quietly, wholly focused on watching television. While still something of a work in progress, she seems more content to let me hang around now. Even if she doesn't engage much, maybe simply being friendly company is enough for her. Despite being the weekend, Eve's parents are out once again. This time, they're without Elle to check it. Of all the ways Elle's home is different to my own, it's the sheer quiet that most gets me. With few cars around nor people nearby, there's only the odd boisterous birds outside to make noise. I could get used to small town life like this. Facts. I love this small town life, bro. I love it. I fucking love it, bro. I just need to go more westward, though. Because where I was from is a French town, so... You know what I'm saying? My spacing out is interrupted as the main door shuts with a loud thud. A familiar figure striding past. Welcome back. How's the car? It's Gucci. We're heading out once Dad's finished poking at it, by the way. Sure. Where are we going? You'll see. Finish your breakfast for now. I'll get your clothes out and pack everything. Isn't this a bit of a rush? I still have sleep in my eyes from waking up, and usually a zombie at this time of the morning. Still standing around with bowls in my hands, but I'm already dressed. Not for where we're going. Snowboarding. How much you want to bet? Oh, it's just hiking. Oh. The quiet morning is only punctuated by the crunch of snow underfoot, the occasional birds chirping, and the jangle of items from our backpacks. Apart from the woman plodding ahead before me and the footprints she leaves behind, all I can see is and the puffs of condensation from our breaths. The scenery is nice, at least. I'd hardly expected to be spending today hiking through the forest when she dragged me out of the house, but so far, it's a pleasant way to spend the day. Tired as my legs may be, Elle's pace doesn't falter. The hiking clothes she let me hang off my frame. But I suppose that should have been expected given our height difference. They're comfortable though, and most of all, warm. Picked a good day for all of this. Not exactly warm, but at least it's not bitterly cold. He says this with all the care that one might give looking out the window of a morning. Ellis really seems to be treating this as the fact we need bear spray out here also weighs on my mind. Apparently being black bear country, simply carries it in stride. Oh my god. Okay. There's gonna be a black bear that pulls up and then just kills both of them. And that's how it ends. And so we keep plodding ahead. On the plus side, no, they don't fucking die. On the plus side, the air is nice and fresh up here. The odd huge bird squawking as it flies above us. It calls its calls echoing around the mountains. Makes for a nice atmosphere. When we're alone like this, her family feels like the elephant in the room. There's so much I want to talk to her about, but I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say, since she told me not to pry. Wanting to fill the air with something, I end up settling for the mildest of small talk. So you're experienced at this, huh?
Sure.
Yeah, been a few hikes around here. Played outside a lot as a kid. Ended up adventuring more and more until I started hiking. With your father or...
No.
Nah, alone. It's nice to have some time to myself. On job, bro. If you don't go out on walks on your own, especially if you live like next to a forest or like a little like... Yeah, like next to a forest. Or like a river or some shit, bro. I don't know what you're doing, bro. I'm telling you, those are the most peaceful times in your life. You know, all you do is just listen to the sounds of nature, and just let your thoughts kind of just melt away. It's fire. Without a doubt, Elle has to be the most solitary person I've ever met. Maybe this explains her abrasiveness towards her parents, but it feels a little unfair for her to take it out on them. Coming out while we're running out of breath, I have to stop and take a moment to collect myself. My natural pace is slower than Elle's, making this hike all the more taxing. How is this all related to art? The more life experiences you have, the more inspiration you have. Hard to create anything of worthwhile stuck in the four walls of my room. True. You need input to be able to create output. That's how culture works. True. Thinking of her on her words as I turned and start moving once more, Elle's voice calls out,
Allison.
"Watch out, there's a stone there." I look at my feet, quickly stepping around this dangerous trip hazard. If it weren't so big, I'd move it out of the way for future people coming up here. Wow, I can't read. I took this route a lot as a kid. It's probably the easiest way to make it through this area, but you still have to keep an eye out. My breathing heavy, I come to the grim realization that Elle must have been far more fit when she was young than I am now.
Sorry.
I'm a total city kid, I guess. Elle city kid. You're plenty smart, but you can't just pick up everything from books and internet, you know? I don't really know how to receive that half compliment, half criticism. True. Dog, you think I learned how to cook because of the internet? Nah, I guessed. I would watch my mom cook and be like, yeah, that's probably how I'm supposed to do it. Watch my mom or my brothers cook. Is this where Elle picked up her independence? Hiking in the woods alone? It's not like it's bad out there. The air and the sounds and everything are nice. I just can't imagine doing this alone. And not just because I'm barely being pulled along as it is. You think maybe we can rest soon? Going by the frown on her face, Elle is clearly disappointed with my request. We've barely started. There's a resting place I want us to reach, but we can't stop every few minutes if we want to get back by sundown. Just how far does she plan to take us? You know what this reminds me of? The short film. Like this, just this little area. The short film, the boy, the horse, the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse. I think that's what it's called. One of the greatest short films I've ever watched in my entire life. Like, if you're ever just feeling down in life, you know, feeling like either uninspired or like just like a lack of motivation, I would say like watch that short film. It is so fucking good. The music too. The voice acting, it's British, but the sound of the river getting louder and louder as we walk before the two of us finally reach a clearing after a couple of hours or so of hiking. Despite barely being able to walk, I've kept myself from complaining anymore, not wanting Elle to be disappointed in me again. With the two of us slowly slowing to a stop as she looks around, it seems we'll finally be able to make a pit stop here. Same as it always was. It looks like nobody was I'm about to ask what's so significant about this place before she bends down and sweeps some snow off a few large rocks, showing them to be purposefully set in a small circle. Here, have a seat. Setting herself down on a particularly large rock, I quickly follow her lead and sit next to her. Looks like most of the rocks here were carefully set in the ground to make a little campsite positioned next to the gently flowing river. My legs are happy I get to sit down. Looks like you've come here before. I ended up building this place up into a little base camp over the years. Bears kept taking out anything I brought in or set up, but at least they leave the rocks and ditches alone. Elle makes herself comfortable as she pulls out a tin and thermos to pour herself some water, while I cup my hands and huff into them to warm them up a little. With the two of us settling down to recover for a while, I listen to the sounds around us. It's so different to my own home, with the sounds of cars and crowds replaced by this river's slow trickling and various birds and other wildlife. Somehow it isn't a surprise that this is the kind of place Elle would like. As she sits out here thinking to herself, she looks like part of the scenery, just as she did in her quiet art room. At least until Caprice and I made it decidedly less quiet. Then there's me, in my oversized clothes and labored breaths. It's peaceful. Yeah. I thought my apartment was quiet, but it's nothing like this. Your place wasn't quiet at all when I was there. Constant cars, construction, and people walking by. I'm not like you. I've only ever lived in the big city. I was worried about being so far from home, but I think I like it here. Playing with Eve has been fun too. Family has really been nice to me as well. Elle's sour face sours, making me immediately regret adding that last little addendum, or more to the point, that lecturing tone. I want to understand her, but she only gives me small pieces to work with, not enough to puzzle things together. Whoopsies. I knew my sudden intrusion into her home would be at least a little awkward, but I've begun to realize Elle's resistance to bringing me here was more than that.
Eileen.
I started speaking before even gathering my thoughts. This isn't a great start. Just, what is it that makes you want to be away from them so much? To move to a different state? I mean, is it just about your choice of a career, or... Can we not bring this up and bring all that up? I came here exactly to get away from my parents being on my case. And then there was silence. A gunshot. A gunshot pierced through the slices through the silence. After quickly jerking, I look over to Elle. Blood slowly dripping from her face down to her neck. Giant hole ruminating. Let me stop. I explained to her rush in the morning to organize our hiking trip out here, especially if she was stuck with her parents while they gave her a car to spin around. So what am I even here for? Something up? I thought you brought me out here because you wanted to share it with me. I was really excited to see the kinds of things you did growing up. Her face tells me that she hadn't even considered that reasoning. I feel a little stupid for attaching so much feeling to this now. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be a good look if I left you back at the house while I wasted time out here. So this was just stress relief for her? Even now, she's not looking at me. Probably more busy thinking things over with regards to her family. I opened my mouth to try and ask her about it. I can't work out what to say. I'm just here because she still feels obligated to invite me. I guess I should have realized she doesn't want me here. She didn't want me here at her home at all. I'm the invader. I'm in her space. It's no wonder she treated me like a burden this entire walk. If I was going to get in her way, she should have just said so. In the end, the only reason I even know anything about her disagreement with her parents is because Eve told me. Elle doesn't want me to know. For now, I'll just be content as I'll just have to be content as a spectator, looking into her life without getting too involved. bleh. I quickly look to her, but rather than acting contrite, she's pointing to my left side with her gaze focused. An insect seems to be lazily crawling around the top of my left hand. The thing about a fingernail length and jet black. How is there insects in the middle of winter? I don't recognize it, but it looks harmless enough. To be honest, I couldn't care less about the little beetle right now. You're not worried? Should I be? Well, I mean, most people don't like bugs crawling on them much. I just shrugged, leaning down to press the side of my hand to the cold ground while gently persuading the bug to get off with my other hand. After a bit of effort, the little fellow gets off my glove and onto the soil, scampering off a little faster for the experience. Wow, I just said that so fucking fast. It won't hurt me. Facts. Bro, I remember back when I was a kid, I used to run this little quote-unquote business. I didn't get paid for it. I would just do it. I would like catch ladybugs in the middle of summer and then just give it to people who asked. And then like they'd be scared to like, I would like catch it and then I would give it to them. And then they'd be scared to take it. So the ladybug would just fly away. I'd be like, what the fuck, man? What? What? Just another one of your animal friends? I'm not exactly in the mood for being teased. It's the kind of thing that you can learn in the books. You can learn in books or on the internet. Elle laughs it off, but I'm sure she can tell I'm being snippy. My fault, sorry. With that, she stands up, putting her thermos and cup back into her backpack before dusting herself off. Ready to keep going then? We've still got the afternoon ahead of us.
Sure.
I try to put as much enthusiasm into it as I can muster. I get the distinct feeling that I'm just along for the ride now. And so she pushes forward without looking back at me. This is always where I am with her. Whether I'm watching Elle paint or watching her hike, I'm always far behind her, with eyes on her back. Alright, and this is where we'll end it. Bro, 6 hours. Jesus Christ, man. Alright. Next time. Yeah. Hopefully next time I finish the game. I'll be able to finish it next time, which will be Wednesday. But yeah.